Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. So we talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roach Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. The past couple days in college basketball, the transfer portal has been a bit quiet. But today, there's been another explosion in country roads in Morgantown, West Virginia. Jesse Edwards, the former Syracuse center, has decided to transfer to the West Virginia Mountaineers. This is a massive addition for Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers because they've already gotten a really good transfer portal commit earlier in the cycle, and former Arizona guard Kerr Krissa and Tre Mitchell is returning for the West Virginia Mountaineers as well. And I think that overall, now you're getting Jesse Edwards from the Syracuse Orange, and I think that overall, looking at how West Virginia was able to land a player of the caliber of Jesse Edwards, and you look at everything that happened behind the transfer, things are trending in the right direction for the West Virginia Mountaineers. I'm going to go over everything that happened with this transfer and how much I think it could potentially help West Virginia next season. Now, looking at Jesse Edwards, he's a good basketball player. Overall, he's not one of the top former five-star recruit transfer portal players that we've seen like some of these other players like Khalil Ware or Harrison Ingram who are in the transfer portal. But you look at Jesse Edwards, he's a solid player, and you don't have that many guys that are 6'11", 230 pounds that have the amount of athleticism that Jesse Edwards showed when he was at Syracuse. And he got recruited by Jim Boeheim, and he went to the Orange. And you look at what Jesse Edwards did this past season for the Syracuse Orange. He had a career year averaging 14.5 points per game, 10.3 rebounds, 2.7 blocks, and 1.6 assists. And you look at that blocks number. That was one of the best shot blocking numbers in college basketball this past season, right up there with Trace Jackson Davis from Indiana last year. And West Virginia's not had a center that's been that good at guarding the paint and being able to block shots in years of the caliber that Jesse Edwards did for Syracuse this past season. And since Jesse Edwards is going to West Virginia, where he'll be able to play off a fantastic forward in Tre Mitchell, it should definitely help his block rate stay at or even increase with West Virginia next year. But why is this such a massive addition for West Virginia to land Jesse Edwards? He had offers from Kansas, Gonzaga, and Michigan, and tons of other good basketball teams in the transfer portal. And overall, if you're a team like West Virginia and you're able to beat out Kansas and Gonzaga and some of these other really great programs in college basketball, you are doing something right. Now, obviously, Kansas might be interested in some other players as well, and so you don't really know everything that's behind the scenes that's involved there. Maybe there's some type of connection that Jesse Edwards likes with West Virginia and Bob Huggins, and that's why he decided to go there. But you never know what's involved with these transfer portal cases. But I do think for West Virginia, being able to land a player like Jesse Edwards over these other programs is huge for the West Virginia Mountaineers overall. And I think you look at Jesse Edwards as well. He said when he just made this transfer portal move, NIL was not the reason I left Syracuse to go to West Virginia, but he said that Syracuse does not have NIL going right now. He said that NIL is a weakness point for Syracuse, and he doesn't know what's going on with the program and whether Syracuse is going to improve in it in the future. So I think for Syracuse fans, not trying to doom and gloom and say that the Orange have no future, they obviously were able to land J.J. Starling out of the transfer portal from Notre Dame. I think that will be a huge addition for Adrian Autry now that Jim Boeheim is retired, and for Syracuse. But for Jesse Edwards to say that about Syracuse's NIL operation is not a good sign. And I think that West Virginia is doing something right in NIL because they were able to land Kerr Krissa, the point guard from Arizona this past season, and he had a lot of offers from a lot of big programs as well, and he decided to transfer to West Virginia. And I think that's probably a big reason why Jesse Edwards wanted to go to West Virginia, because Kerr Krissa is a good basketball player at the point guard position. Yes, he maybe is a little shot heavy and he shoots too many deep threes and maybe doesn't take the best shots, but he is a good passer, and I think that Bob Huggins will be able to use Kerr Krissa to be able to pass the ball at a higher level. And Joe Toussaint's still there for West Virginia coming off the bench. And overall, I think that West Virginia has the point guard position shored up. It should be a fantastic point guard unit next season, one of the best in the Big 12. And you look at the Big 12 overall, I think there's going to be a lot of teams that take a step back with the amount of players going to the draft and how competitive the league was overall. A lot of these players are entering the transfer portal away from these Big 12 schools to other schools to be able to potentially have more success and not have to be in a conference that's grinded out like the Big 12 is night in and night out. And you look at West Virginia getting Kerr Krissa and now landing Jesse Edwards. and Tre Mitchell's coming back. If you have Bob Huggins, who's a mastermind head coach, one of the better head coaches in college basketball, even at his age, if he's able to land a couple other good players in the portal, specifically at the 2 and 3 position, I think West Virginia could be one of the best teams in the Big 12 next season. I don't think that Bob Huggins is done in the transfer portal. West Virginia is definitely a place that players want to go to right now, and the Mountaineers have been down for the last couple seasons. They have not been one of the best teams in the Big 12. Since Deuce McBride and Javon Carter, West Virginia had definitely taken a step back as a program, but things are really trending in the right direction, and Jesse Edwards is definitely a player that will help out West Virginia next season. He's probably going to be one of the most underrated players in the transfer portal this cycle. Yes, a lot of people are going to be talking about Jesse Edwards. He's one of probably the top 30 players that have entered the portal, but he's not a super big name like Hunter Dickinson or even Caleb Love, but he is a fantastic player. Averaging 14.5 points and 10 rebounds per game is a great feat to have in the ACC. You're not getting a player from the MAC. Jesse Edwards played for Syracuse in the ACC, going up against the Dukes and the North Carolinas. Now he's going to be going up against the Kansases, Baylors, and Texases, and some of the other great programs in the Big 12. But I think he can easily make that transition. And Bob Huggins has had a lot of great success with centers in the past when he was at Cincinnati and at West Virginia as a head coach. And West Virginia is not a player that's averaged a double-double in many years. And Jesse Edwards averaging 14 points per game and 10 rebounds. He could be the first player to average double-double for the Mountaineers in a long time. And losing Oscar Tshiebwe a couple years ago for West Virginia was huge because West Virginia has not had the center depth that they had before and a great post player in general, but now Jesse Edwards is going to fill that void, and the 2.7 blocks is huge, and he averaged 1.6 assists, so he's a capable passer. Everything about this transfer portal addition for West Virginia screams the fact that West Virginia is in a great position right now in college basketball. To be able to land a player of his caliber, I think still shows the pull that Bob Huggins has, and potentially the fact that West Virginia maybe has some good things going in NIL in basketball right now. Landing Kerr Krissa from Arizona shores up the point guard position. Now Jesse Edwards shores up the center position. All West Virginia needs is maybe another player or two at the wing position, and potentially West Virginia could be a top 4 or 5 team in the Big 12 next season. The Big 12 should still be a great conference next year, but it might take a bit of a step back, and West Virginia could be a team that definitely jumps up the standings. They made the tournament last year, but they could be an even better team this season with what they have, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Morgantown, West Virginia. I still believe in Bob Huggins' ability to recruit at a high level, and getting Jesse Edwards I think is one of the most underrated additions in the transfer portal. He's definitely going to help out the Mountaineers next season, and I think that the trajectory is going up for West Virginia in this offseason to potentially have a much better year next year. Kerr Krissa is a fantastic guard, Jesse Edwards is a fantastic center, and now what else can Bob Huggins get in the transfer portal to help out the Mountaineers next season? But all signs are pointing towards the fact that he will be able to land another good player or two, and West Virginia might be an even better basketball team next season by far, and Jesse Edwards will be definitely leading the charge next season with his shot blocking ability and his scoring ability and rebounding ability to have a lot of success at West Virginia next season overall. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below what you think about Jesse Edwards transferring from Syracuse to West Virginia. What you think about what this means for the future of Syracuse basketball and what Jesse Edwards said about their NIL operation, and how much you think Jesse Edwards will be able to help out the West Virginia Mountaineers next year, pairing with Kerr Krissa as well. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.